welcome back to Limabean Living. If you guys are new here, my name is Emily. Welcome to my motherhood channel where I take care of all things mom. In today's video, I thought I would go ahead and share a very easy ice cream cake recipe that my mom would make a lot of the times when we were little. And one of the great things about this recipe is that you can really alter it to your taste. You can choose the ice cream flavor that you want. You can choose any additions that you like, but I'm going to share the version that my mom made for us growing up, and I will share some tweaks along the way as well. So the recipe that my mom would use when we were growing up was you need 1 angel food cake, ice cream of your choice. She typically went with Neapolitan ice cream. She would also add in some marshmallows. This is about half of a large bag of mini marshmallows, as well as some Cool Whip or just basic store brand whip topping. You're also going to need a springform pan. This one is about 9 inches in diameter, as well as some plastic wrap, a bowl for mixing ingredients, a knife, a cutting board, as well as something to mix everything up with. Let's go ahead and put this ice cream away. We're not going to use it just yet, and I don't want it to get too soft. Same goes for our whipped topping. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to take your springform pan, and we're going to add some plastic wrap just in a little crisscross. And this will make it easier to remove the ice cream cake after it's frozen before the final step. Then what we're going to do is just kind of press this down and fill in the sides a little bit, and this pan is ready to work with. Now, if you're using a bigger pan or if for some reason your plastic wrap doesn't quite cover everywhere, add some more so that there's no pan exposed. Like I said, this will make it easier to remove the cake once we are done with one of the upcoming steps. So for now, we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna move on to the next step in our recipe. So the next step is we're actually just gonna cube up this angel food cake. Now, if you are going to the store and you catch one of these on sale, which I believe this one was when it was purchased, you can go ahead and pick this up and just throw it in your freezer if you anticipate making one of these cakes in the future. And it's just a great way to save money rather than going to the store the weekend before you need an ice cream cake and paying full price. So if you catch them on sale, just buy them, stick them in your freezer, and they'll be good for a couple months at least. But what we're gonna do is we are just gonna cube this up. And so you can make the cubes as big or as little as you want. I'm gonna take about a 1-inch slice and probably do 2 cuts in one direction and 2 in another, creating 9 tiny little cubes for this one little slice. And then we're gonna work around the entire cake and get all of it cut up. As we're cutting this up, I'm gonna be adding these little cubes to a very large bowl. And this is where we're gonna mix in the other ingredients once this step is done. The one thing I like about this cake, as opposed to some other ice cream cakes that are out there, is this is really forgiving. There's no set layers in this ice cream cake like you might see at like a Baskin Robbins. Okay, a quick vent. There is a fly somewhere in my house. My kids always leave the doors open and I can never catch every single fly that comes in here. So I apologize that there's a random fly just going around my kitchen, annoying me and probably you. Now you're gonna see it if you didn't catch it before. So anyways, that's just the life of being a mom to little kids. But what I wanted to say was, one thing that I really like about this cake, this version of an ice cream cake, is that it's very forgiving. As opposed to, let's say you're trying to replicate like a Baskin Robbins cake, there is definite cake layers and then definite ice cream layers. This one, the ice cream and this angel food cake is just kind of all mixed together, as well as any other filling ingredients. In this case, we're using marshmallows. And there's no like set way that it needs to look. So it really is forgiving, and it's a great, easy recipe to try if, you know, you want to try to make some cake and be kind of fancy, but at the same time, not put in too much effort. All right, we are just about done cutting into this angel food cake. Not every cube or portion is the same size, and that's totally fine. It's gonna get mixed up together and enjoyed by all. Now, before I wash my hands, I have to enjoy the crumbs that are stuck to me. Let me go ahead and clean this up and I'll check back in for our next step. Okay, so the next step, now that we have our angel food cake kind of cubed up, we are going to scoop in our ice cream of choice. Now, I recently made another one of these cakes and I used about half of a 1 gallon tub of ice cream from Walmart. So 1 angel food cake plus about half of 1 gallon of ice cream fit perfectly into my 9-inch springform pan. I do have an extra one of these just in case I need a little bit more. But essentially what we're gonna do is just take out little tiny scoops of this ice cream. And it's okay if it gets a little soft as we're working with it because this will be going back in the freezer. So you're gonna take your little scoops and just throw it in the bowl. I'm doing some of like all 3 flavors and then little chunks of each flavor. There's really no rhyme or reason. We're just scooping out the ice cream and getting it in this bowl. Now here is where you can spice this up and make this ice cream cake whatever flavor you want. One combo that I think would be really yummy is like mint chocolate chip, and you can do like crushed up Oreos in the cake as well as marshmallows. Or if you're like a chocolate peanut butter lover, you can do chocolate ice cream with like chunks of peanut butter swirled in. Really, the options are endless. And once I get a couple scoops on here, I'm just gonna toss this because I wanna make sure that this all gets like mixed together. I think another yummy combo would be like a cookies and cream ice cream with Oreos and marshmallows mixed in. I think that combo would be really good. You could even combine like 2 different types of ice cream. So if you did like a vanilla version of cookies and cream and then some chocolate ice cream, like I said, the options are endless. You can really just make this according to your taste buds and your liking. I'm gonna set my spoon in my springform pan because that's where this is all going anyways. And we're just gonna get the last little bits from this tub. They are a little melty, but I will explain why that's perfectly fine in just a second. So we have our ice cream cake mixture here, and I'm not quite sure if I wanna add maybe a couple more scoops of ice cream. I think I will. I probably used a little bit more than half a gallon then in the other cake that I made for this party. I decided to make 2 cakes for this upcoming birthday party just in case we eat through the first one and people still haven't been served. One thing that's great about it being an ice cream cake is if I don't use the second cake, I can just keep it in my freezer until I have another party or gathering and then bring it out then and we can enjoy it. All right, so the ice cream to cake, angel food cake ratio isn't quite like what I want to see yet. So I will be adding some more ice cream, but in the meantime, before we do that, let's go ahead and pop open these marshmallows. Again, this is about half of a bag, and I'm just gonna let's just pour it all in. Well, maybe these last couple ones stuck to the bottom will be enjoyed by my kids. So we're gonna give this a little mix, get those marshmallows throughout. And there's still like too many pieces of angel food not touching ice cream. So let's scoop some more ice cream here. So I am glad I picked up an extra one of these. And if someone doesn't want like ice cream cake with all of its components, that's totally fine. I can give them just a scoop of ice cream, which one hack that I've done in the past for one of my parties is to pre-scoop your ice cream into like little cupcake liners and then throw them back in the freezer. It makes it really easy to dish out during a party, so you're not spending, you know, all your time cutting cake, scooping out ice cream. It's already done. So little time-saving tip for you in case you're gonna be hosting something soon. So like I mentioned, it is okay if this ice cream gets a little soft as you're working with it, because that will essentially make all of the angel food cake and ice cream chunks stick together and fill in like the little crevices, making it like a cohesive slice when you end up cutting into this cake. You obviously don't want it to be just like everything's just a puddle and running, so you do want to work somewhat quickly to get this thrown together. As I'm scooping out this Neapolitan, I'm remembering like as a little girl letting my ice cream melt a little bit and then mixing it up and just making this like sloppy concoction in my bowl and enjoying my ice cream that way. Did anyone else eat their ice cream that way? Let me know down below in the comments. All right. I want to say this is about the same amount of ice cream that I used in my other batch. There's not as many chunks of angel food cake that are just like falling off by themselves. So that is something to look out for, something good. Like, we don't want it just to be all just angel food cake and marshmallows. We do want the ice cream to kind of be the glue that holds everything together. But this is looking like how I would want it to look. So I'm gonna put this ice cream away, and then we are going to do one of the last few steps. So just so you guys have like a clear picture of what we're going for. Things are stuck to the ice cream. There's no huge chunks of angel food cake that are just all by themselves. There is a little patch here, so I'll just kind of mix it and pat it down into the other ice cream, but this is kind of the consistency that we're looking for. It doesn't look that great. It doesn't look that appealing, but it tastes delicious. So just trust me on this. So the next step is transferring this whole concoction into our lined springform pan. Now, you could use probably a non-springform cake pan, but this just makes it a lot easier to get the cake out for our final step. So if you don't, have this, it's still doable, especially if you line it with some saran wrap. But again, we're working quick because we don't want this just to become all liquidy. And we're just gonna be scooping out our ice cream angel food cake marshmallow mixture and pressing it into this pan. Now here, if you wanted to create like a double layer thing with cake or some sauce or anything like that, or like lined cookies, you could. So let's say you did the angel food cake, you did mint chocolate chip ice cream and marshmallows. You could put half of this mixture down and then put like a layer of Oreos and then finish off with more of this mixture. That would be one way to give it a little bit more of a uniform, formal cake look. But since we're following the way that my mom did it growing up, we're just shoving all this in here. And I feel like I need to mention it again. It's okay if a little bit of it gets a little runny. It's gonna fill in the cracks. That way, when you get a slice, you're not like looking at a big gap because, there was just a chunk of ice cream and some angel food cake and there was space in between. One other modification as I'm doing this is if you don't like all of the Neapolitan flavors all mixed together, you could separately mix the angel food cake with strawberry ice cream, and then in a separate bowl, mix the angel food cake with vanilla ice cream and then chocolate in another bowl. And then when you're assembling this, you put them in a certain order so they don't touch as much. That would be one way to ensure that the chocolate doesn't melt with the strawberry and into the vanilla. But honestly, this way is just as delicious and really reminds me of my childhood. So as you can see, I'm really trying to push this down and pack this in. We don't want there to be any little chunks left over where there's like empty space. And you can see that this like perfectly fills in a 9-inch pan. Okay, last little bits. They're getting to be a little runny, and that is okay. So I'm gonna try to get this like as flat as possible on the top, just so that when I decorate the cake, it's a nice like cylindrical shape with a flat top and bottom. Again, I'm just pressing down because I really want to make sure that there's no empty spaces. Doesn't look like much, but it's gonna taste delicious. I am going to throw on some saran wrap and just kind of cover this up. Press it down a little bit more. And we are going to throw this in the freezer to firm up nice and firm before we decorate it with our final ingredient. Okay, so the beauty of YouTube or any filmed thing, I have a frozen cake here and we are going to decorate it and prepare it for the party. The great thing is I can decorate it and throw it back in the freezer. My party is not for another like 2 weeks, but I can get this done and spend more of my last minute time doing the things that actually have to get done last minute. So this is gonna be a time saver for me, and I wanna cut into it now, but I'm just gonna have to wait and look forward to the party to do that. So we are going to peel off the top little saran wrap here, and we can trash this. And then the beauty of the springform pan is this thing kind of just comes off pretty easily. And we have our ice cream cake layer, perfectly shaped, flat on the bottom, just what I'm looking for. And our ice cream pan is clean because I lined it with saran wrap. Okay, I want to work fast because I do not want this ice cream to melt. I bought some of these cake boards at Walmart today. And for this 9-inch cake, I got a 12-inch round, particularly because we are gonna be doing one more layer of something on this cake. I am going to flip this cake over. I'm gonna peel the sides down a little bit. I'm gonna flip this over on my board. And peel off our saran wrap. And for our final layer, we are going to be adding the whipped topping. Now I let this defrost. This is not frozen. This is defrosting in my fridge, and we're just going to add this to the top. One other way that you could modify this is to do marshmallow fluff instead of Cool Whip or whipped topping. That is a different flavor that you could go for. You could even toast it, like I believe like a baked Alaska, but on this cake, we are just going to be coating it with the Cool Whip. And when you freeze Cool Whip, it does get more firm. So, this won't just be like a really soft topping. It'll be nice and firm when you take it out of the freezer to cut it. I'm actually just going to break out my little Lazy Susan thingy here to making this a little bit easier for me to work quickly because I do not want this to start melting. So I just dumped on this 8-ounce container. And it's looking that if I spread it thin enough, it probably would be enough, but I do have an extra one just in case I need to break into it. All right, this does not need to be perfect at all, but I don't know, I like my straight lines, straight edges. So I'm just trying to kind of smooth out the corners of this cake a little bit more, but it's good to know that one 8-ounce container will be more than enough to cover this ice cream cake. All right, this is looking good to me. Just with a little wet rag, I'm just gonna clean up the edges here, and then I'll use a paper towel to do the final clean. But if you wanted like a specific color for your cake, I'm pretty sure you could add just a little bit of food coloring to the Cool Whip and have, a cake of your color choice. But here you go. This is our ice cream cake. I'm gonna throw it in the freezer before it melts. Now, if you are interested in how I plan on decorating this, make sure you guys stay tuned for my birthday party prep for my daughter. She is turning 6 and she wants a bird-themed party, so that may not necessarily be something that you are gonna throw for your little ones, but if you just like watching party preps, make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Let me know down below in the comments like what flavor combinations you would prefer in an ice cream cake. Also, definitely let me know down below in the comments if you guys plan on making this yourself and what flavor combo you chose. I would love to hear how it goes for you. And definitely let me know down below in the comments if you guys plan on giving this a try. I am sorry that you guys are not going to see a cut slice in this video, but I will make sure to make a short or show it in our party prep video so you guys can see what it looks like when it's all cut into. But I'm pretty sure you guys could use your imagination. It is just a mosaic of ice cream, angel food cake, and marshmallows, and every bite is super delicious. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and if you guys are new here, I would love it if you stick around and subscribe. You'll definitely see this cake being cut into, and you won't miss any more of my motherhood content. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. end of the video. If you didn't know already, every Monday and Friday, you can find motherhood and lifestyle content on this channel. And since us moms have to do it all, that may mean yummy recipes, easy DIYs, mom hacks, cleaning and organization, or just a combo of everything. Please know that you are loved and you are made for greatness, and I will catch you in the next one.